Hello, Gold participants from around the world. I'm Fleur Bickford, Program Director and MC for Gold Lactation. I'm chatting today with Dr. Jane Morton about her upcoming presentation titled Beyond Baby Friendly, Thinking Out of the Box. So, Jane, welcome and thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Fleur. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, we are very excited about your upcoming presentation, but before we talk about your actual presentation, I'm wondering if you can tell our delegates a little bit more about yourself and your professional journey.
Well, that's kind of a long one. You can tell by all my white hair that I have been around a while, and ever since I became a pediatrician about 44 years ago, I have had this interest in breastfeeding. And in those days, there were no such things as lactation consultants or pumps or even good research about breastfeeding. In fact, the only book I could find when my mothers would end up with problems was a little book by Lalachi League, The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding. Now we are blessed with a plethora of wonderful research and very helpful information that would have been so useful so many years ago and saved so many mothers that I have worked with discouraging problems. So I'm so excited to share with you a lot of the information that has developed across the years in different communities and different institutions, and hope that it will be extremely practical and useful to the audience today.
Okay, thank you for that. So you mentioned a little bit about the change, like one of the changes that you've seen is that, we have so much more available to us now in the way of books and research.
Mhm.
This year for our lactation conference, we are celebrating our 10th anniversary. So one of the questions I've been having fun with during these interviews is asking our speakers what the biggest change is that you've seen during your career. And you already mentioned one, but I imagine there's others. So I'm
Mhm.
curious what other changes you've really noticed over the
Mhm.
years. And maybe what's one thing that you find has really stayed the same over the years?
Well, I think what's really changed the most has been the fact that initially information about breastfeeding was much more anecdotal. And the people who were most interested in hardcore research were the least interested in breastfeeding. And the people who were most interested in breastfeeding were the least interested in research. And fortunately today that's changed so that we're much more on terra firma when we start talking about what's the best approach and how we can most effectively solve problems. So I think that's the biggest change. What has stayed the same, of course, is that the problems are not new that we're still struggling with. The biggest problem we struggle with is mothers who uh, feel they don't make enough milk. And the second biggest problem is babies who don't get enough milk. And so, unfortunately, those two problems have been rather stubborn. And I think a lot of it that we could do a lot better job because now we know that that actually doesn't need to be the case and that we can begin helping mothers at a much earlier stage and make a huge difference in a preventative way.
Okay, I think that is, it's so true about, and I love your wording that those particular issues are very stubborn and they really haven't changed, especially the one about mothers being concerned about their milk production.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
definitely a very stubborn one, I feel.
And
Um,
hard to reverse as well once you get out, the further you get away from the day of birth, the harder it is to really turn that around.
yeah, for sure. So I know that in your presentation you're going to be providing us with some great information about some of the things that we can do for these moms. So maybe you can just give us a little bit of a sneak peek into some of the things that we can look forward to hearing about in your presentation, and let us know what you hope the delegates will be taking away from your presentation.
Well, I think that one of the things I would like the delegates to take away is the fact that breastfeeding has become inordinately complicated, breastfeeding management, and that that has been a disservice for everyone, for mothers, for training staff, and because industry has now uh, started twirling the pot a bit, we've gotten all sorts of gadgets and devices and things that might be profit making that are related to the breastfeeding world. So I think that one of the things that I try to do in this presentation is to go back to a more friendly, simple, clean way of looking at precisely what we need, because really maybe all that matters the most is really all that matters at all. And if we could kind of make it not so overwhelming, I think we would do very well for our mothers and babies.
Okay, that sounds fantastic, and I think that, you know, definitely if we could simplify things in the beginning, especially when we've got mothers that are recovering from childbirth and it's, you know, an overwhelming time for a lot of moms and there's a lot going on, and anything we can do to simplify the breastfeeding is a wonderful thing. So,
Exactly, exactly. In fact, I've made a little video that we're working on to sort of make it much more mother-centric and give them some simple information. And I've been using it in the delivery room when mothers who don't know me just come in for either a C-section delivery or a vaginal birth, and trying this video out on them. And most of them have never heard of most of the points in the video, but it's so easy for them to grasp that I'm hoping this will be a useful tool that we can put up for everybody with no charge to use.
oh, that sounds fantastic. So I am really looking forward to hearing more about your presentation. So thank you for joining us today. And for our delegates who are listening, you will be able to hear more from Dr. Jane Morton live on Monday, May the 2nd at 2100 UTC. So we look forward to having you join us then. Goodbye for now, everyone.